So, good morning and welcome back to Daily Transfer Update. Today we're going to speak about quite a few players actually, and one of them's linked to a move to Arsenal. We'll come on to him very shortly, but a couple of them are already at Arsenal, and one of them's on loan abroad from Arsenal. We'll come on to them shortly. I want to speak about Unai Emery very quickly and Miguel Arteta. Bear with me again, seriously, my throat is killing me today. So apologies, hopefully I'll get back to normal health very soon, but I'm going to struggle on through this. But Unai Emery is still the manager of Arsenal Football Club, and I think that's an absolute disgrace. There was rumours came out late Sunday night, early hours of Monday morning, saying that he would be sacked. That hasn't been the case. And the only person backing him is Raul Sanhaley. Now, if that is the case where Raul is the only guy in that club backing him, then Raul needs to go as well. Because I don't see what he's backing. I genuinely do not get what he sees in him. That ship sailed last season. This season's been an absolute disgrace. We've drawn way too many games this season. We've not played good football pretty much the whole time he's been manager, if I'm being honest. And it's just unacceptable for a club of our size to be dithering the way we're dithering. Now, the front runner for the job is Miguel Arteta. And I'll make it known once again, if Miguel Arteta gets the job at Arsenal, I am Arteta out from the first second he is announced as manager. I do not want him at Arsenal. I don't think he was that great a footballer. And just because he sits with a clipboard next to Pep Guardiola does not mean that he is in any way, shape or form qualified to run and coach this football team. It's unacceptable that he's even in contention, let alone their main one. So yeah, I've pinned my flag to the mast, my colours to the mast. And if he's our manager, I want him gone before he even gets here. Not good enough. Don't care what you do with Pep. Go and do what you do and stay where you're at. Now, Pep Guardiola's come out and said that he ain't going to control what he does. He's fully free to speak to anybody he wants. If he wants to go and pursue a career as a coach, he can go and do that. But for me, it's just not acceptable that we're, going with or potentially going with a guy that has never coached a full team himself. And because he works with Pep, the amount of people that have jumped on board and gone, yeah, but he's up and coming. Go and be up and coming somewhere else then. And when you are coming and you're fully there and you've come, yeah, then maybe we'll consider you. We don't need another project right now. It's not acceptable. Go and get a proper manager. Anyway, slight rant, but let's move on. Now, Arsenal are linked to a young teenager from Wolverhampton Wanderers called Owen Owusu. Now, we're not the only team that are linked to him. Liverpool are linked to him. PSG are linked to him. Schalke are linked to him. There's a lot of interest in this kid. Now, he's not played that many games for the under-23s this season, the reserve team. He's only played about 86 minutes in total. But he has had a lot of scouts go and watch him this season. He can qualify to play for England, Nigeria or America. And he's a centre-back, which is an area that we're shocking in. An area that we're haven't been any good in for, a decade maybe. Now, I can't lie, I've never heard of him. From the swatting up that I've done to do this video, he does look like a very composed centre-back on the ball. Very strong. Good in the air, very good in the air actually. But I would be sitting there lying if I was to just go, oh yeah, I know this, that and the other about him. I genuinely don't. The fact that he's getting interest from PSG and from Liverpool and from Schalke, as well as us, and we've been said to have sent scouts to see him in an under-23 game back end of last season, so not this season. But I'm thinking that if we did go and get this guy, then he ain't going to be available for first team action straight away. He obviously can't even get in Wolves team at the moment, so it'd be another one for the future. And whilst that's great, and whilst that's something that a big club should be doing, always trying to better their youth setup, that's not really getting me excited. It's not really making me think, yeah, the club are trying to make moves. They're trying to better the squad. Because let's be real, he ain't going to get into our first team. And like I said, although it'd be probably a good signing for 2-3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, cool, go and do it in 4 years' time. Unless you're just going to loan him out and get him up to speed a little bit quicker. Obviously, we've got William Saliba coming in at the end of this season. And he's fully going to walk straight into that first team because our defence is absolutely pony. Can't defend at all. We proved that again at the weekend when we turned Southampton into a prime Barcelona. They actually had more shots in that game against Arsenal than they'd had in all the games this season before that combined. Now, that's just not acceptable. I don't just blame the defence. I think the midfield is a massive weakness in Arsenal's team. I think that's probably a bigger issue than defence. But I do think that we need to go and get a proper centre-back. This kid isn't that for now. That's not to say he won't be, but no, not right now. So yeah, listen, he might end up at PSG, he might end up at Liverpool. Who wants to come to Arsenal right now? Now let's move on to Mohamed Elneny. And Besiktas, he's on loan. Sorry, bear with me. Like I said, my throat's killing me. Besiktas, he's on loan. Besiktas is said to actually want him. Yes, there is somebody up there watching down. There's somebody up there that's going, yeah, we'll take him. Please, look, push him that way. So, listen, let's end this misery of Mohamed Elneny's Arsenal career and get that done. Even if we take £500,000, just get him off the books. Get rid of him. He wasn't good enough when we signed him. He's limited at what he does. I don't necessarily blame him. Listen, he's very limited. The fact that he's even a professional footballer, he must count his blessings every single day because he's nowhere near good enough to play in the Premier League, let alone Arsenal. So yeah, that one could be wrapped up before the end of January, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that one is. Now let's move on to two players that are currently our two strikers. Lacazette, fresh off of the back of me labelling him Lacka Fret. He then obviously watched my video and then scored 2 goals to shout me up. So fair play to Lacka. Took his goals well. And let's talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well. Now, what with this circus at the club at the moment, with Emery in, Emery out, shake it all about, Arteta potentially coming, Freddie could have it, Allegri, Poch, whoever it is. Both of these are in the midst of not negotiating. They're currently being offered new deals. They're nowhere near negotiating these. And we can't allow these two to walk out and let their contracts run down. We obviously did that with Alexis, and we ended up getting Mkhitaryan, who was, well, yeah, let's just move on. And then obviously Mesut Ozil run down his contract and ended up with the most ridiculous pay I've seen at this club. Yes, we've had a lot of players that were not worth their money. 350 grand a week is an absolute liberty. Whether you like him or not, I think the most ardent Ozil fan would say that he ain't worth 350. Now, it's not about him anyway, it's about these two. But the fact that we gave that guy that much money and the fact that we're not in the Champions League is probably the two reasons why Lacazette and Aubameyang are sitting there going, boy, we're in prime position to get what we want if we leave here. And they are. Listen, at the end of the day, I like Lacazette, I like Aubameyang. I think Lacazette's the better footballer. I've said that many, many times. Aubameyang's obviously the better out-and-out goal scorer. But at the same time, I've said before, and I've been crucified for it, if you get 70 million for Aubameyang, get him on the next flight out of London. Bye-bye, thanks for 70 mil. Then go and spend it on something else, a centre-back. You then keep Lacazette, play Martinelli and Pepe up there as well. All of a sudden, you're recouping them goals if you've got the right defence and the right midfield behind them. The 70 million you could get for Aubameyang pays for a centre-back or a midfielder, or even both. So, listen, it's kind of worrying that they're both stalling. It's kind of worrying that they're waiting to see what happens with Emery. Obviously, the players have all given up on the manager, a bit like we all have as fans. But yeah, it's gonna go on and on, this one, and until the manager situation is a lot clearer, then I don't expect them to be any nearer signing a contract. And tell you something, like I said at the very beginning of this video, if Arteta comes in, is that the kind of manager that's gonna inspire them to stay? I'm not so sure it is, if I'm being honest. I'm not so sure, but listen, let me know what you guys think. It's all doom and gloom at Arsenal at the moment. Like I said, Arteta, don't want him. This kid from Wolves, be honest, I don't want him either. He ain't going to get first team action, so why do any money on him at all? Maybe that's short-sighted, but I'm just being realistic. We need improvements to the first team. Then obviously Elneny, yes, come on Besiktas. And then these two, Aubameyang and Lacazette. Now, the reports that are going around is that they want about 250 grand a week. That was what was coming out in the summer. We were supposedly close to doing these deals in the summer and getting them over the line. But I think the way the season started and it's continued, they're probably sitting there thinking, boy, we can play Champions League. We don't need to be here. And who can blame them? At the same time, Both of them this season at times. Most recently, Aubameyang has been shocking. If he doesn't score, he don't do anything. And until Lacazette scored at the weekend, that's why I labelled him Lack of Threat. So yeah, both of them have been played out of position a lot this season as well. So I don't necessarily just blame them, but they've got to offer more on the pitch as well at times when they ain't got the ball. But there we go. Listen, I'm going to go and have a glass of water and sort my throat out. I will be back at 5 o'clock unless Emery's sacked, and it'll be before that. I'm doing my live stream, so come and join in for that. Facebook page is in the description. Also, Lee Gunner 82 on Instagram. Please go and follow that, show that some love and support. Have a wonderful Tuesday, whatever it is you're doing. And yeah, I'll be back later. Hopefully, Emery will be sacked by then. Laters, peeps.